Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Now, this is a new introductory type of video we're going to start exploring. And this is when the Ibfp goes into the comment section and kind of goes off some of these comments where guys make these ridiculous statements. I feel like some of them need responses. I keep getting asked on social media, comment section, all over the place, hey, can you respond to these guys? These guys are saying crazy, outrageous things. And, I try to respond to as many comments on many videos as I can. I try to give everyone a response. And, sometimes if I can't respond to a guy right away, there's hell, he knew I got him because he didn't respond. I have hundreds and even thousands of comments to go through on many videos daily. And so I can't get to all of them. But you know what? I always try to respond to as many as I can. And I will tell you this, we will start doing this at least once a week, hopefully, so we can go ahead and get some of these questions addressed, some of these biases addressed, and just kind of air out some of these fanboys. And the first question comes from here is, the first comment is from Christopher Hall. Every boxer had it, and this is in regards to Errol Spence Jr. versus Mikey Garcia video, the one that's entitled Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence, size doesn't beat skill. And so Christopher Hall, and I respect everyone's opinion, Christopher Hall states every boxer had a game plan versus Errol Spence, and it wasn't to stand up in front of him and let him tee off on them. Now, first off, we'll just take that statement as what you said. Name a fighter that didn't. Because I can go through all of his most recent fights and show you how you're being intellectually dishonest with the people. You're putting out a statement that has no basis, merit, or fact. So look at it. Lamont Peterson went toe-to-toe with Errol Spence Jr. Barry Hunter was screaming at him, you need to box him, Lamont. Explain that. Kell Brook, poor defense, stood in the pocket, tried to outpower and outman him. Explain that. So two of his most recent biggest wins, guys sat there in the pocket and made it easy for him. Explain that. You can't, because these guys are tailor-made for Errol Spence Jr.'s style. That's why Carlos Ocampo's a domestic level tomato can, and he stood in there going toe-to-toe with Errol Spence Jr., got backed up and got stopped in the first round. Explain that. See what I'm saying? But Christopher Hall goes on to write, that's what Ibfp would like for us to believe. Not what I would like for you to believe. That is the factual truth. They all watched film. I'm sure they did. They all sparred similar opponents. I'm sure they did. And they all got the brakes beat off their ass and bones and broke, curled up on the canvas, kneeling down, and couldn't stand up straight. Okay? I would rather be knocked out and be able to enjoy my money the next day. That's what that elite body punching is going to do for Mikey ass on March 16th. Now, look, Christopher Hall, I appreciate your comment, and I'll put it like this. Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence Jr., that's a 50-50 fight. Could go either way. Either guy can win that fight. It's going to be very difficult. And if Errol Spence Jr. can land clean and often to Mikey's body, Mikey is going to be in trouble, because the game plan for Mikey Garcia is to get hit to the body as least as possible, and that means he's going to have his endurance on point. He's going to utilize lateral movement. He's going to have to avoid those shots. So yes, Christopher Hall, you're right in that aspect that Mikey Garcia has to avoid the big shots to the body, because his body punching power is elite of Errol Spence Jr. But Mikey Garcia's game plan is to avoid that. Unlike all of the other opponents that Errol Spence Jr. has fought, he's not going to go in thinking that he's bigger and stronger than Errol Spence Jr. He's already stated he knows Spence is going to be the bigger, stronger man on the night. His game plan is not tailor-made to be bigger or stronger than Errol Spence Jr. It's about precision, accuracy, timing. These are important qualities in boxing against a fighter like Errol Spence Jr., who's going to have those obvious advantages. But I digress. I appreciate the comment, Christopher Hall. Let's see here. This comment came from Fernando Venezuela. Laughing my ass off. Chris is slightly above the level of a bum. Absolutely, Chris. Lee Autopsy states, you will definitely be making weight bully videos after Mikey gets demolished. Absolutely not. We already know that Errol Spence Jr. is a weight bully at this point. And you know what a weight bully is a guy who's fighting in a weight class below than what he should be. And, because Errol Spence Jr. is at least a natural 154 pounds. Errol Spence Jr. said out of his own mouth that he could fight at 168 one day, but 160 is where he would likely end up. Now, if we're being honest and unbiased, a guy that's that big is not a natural welterweight. We all know this. And there's no problem. If he can make the weight, make the weight. It is what it is. But at the same time, size in it isn't everything in a fight. And if Errol Spence Jr. wins, it's a 50-50 fight. Congratulations to him. That doesn't affect me one bit at all. I don't have a rooting interest. I like Errol Spence Jr. He's very entertaining. But at the same time, the reason why I'm picking Mikey is not because I like Mikey, is because I believe Mikey possesses a skill set that's, better than Errol Spence Jr.'s. And, I don't just look at size and power to win fights. Be honest and unbiased. I appreciate that comment, though. Let's take a look and see here. Another comment came from Not Important. First of all, the title, without any qualifies, is absolutely wrong. Size does beat skill. Now let's think about this. So his first sentence, he starts out by saying, title's wrong, size does beat skill. Now look, I'm not speaking in absolutes. Of course size can beat skill at some point, because you got a guy, you always have a puncher's chance when you're big. When you're big, the size can play a role into the fight. I didn't absolutely say it never does and never will. What I'm saying is more often than not, skill will beat size rather than size beating skills. More often than not. Who was the bigger, stronger fighter? Sergey Kovalev or Andre Ward? Sergey Kovalev and Andre Ward won both times. Regardless of how you see it, those were both, the first fight was very close, competitive. In the second fight, Andre Ward stopped him. So if we're being honest and unbiased, skill trumped size. Okay? Floyd Mayweather, the vast majority of his fights, he was a smaller guy. You see how size and skill play out. You have to understand that boxing history is littered with this. Manny Pacquiao, De La Hoya. We've seen this movie again and again and again. If you have the requisite skill set, you can overcome size. So that's something that you have to always be cognizant of. Let's see here. And let's just keep going, because we take nothing away from Errol Spence Jr. We think he's a very good fighter. But at the same time, we believe Mikey Garcia is an elite overall fighter in every category, not just power and size. The next comment came from Dante Nichols, Biased. You just stated Mikey has beat multiple undefeated world champions at different weight classes, but never shed on a light who exactly those undefeated guys were. LOL. Okay, so Sergey Lipinets and Robert Easter Jr., both undefeated world champions. I didn't say he fought the best guys ever in the world. I said he fought two undefeated world champions, which exactly is what they are, or at least the time when Mikey beat him. And there was guys picking Lipinets to beat Mikey. There was guys picking, Robert Easter Jr., even Dante's Boxing Nation saying that Mikey Garcia was going to try to avoid Robert Easter Jr. It's like he was almost wanted to pick Robert Easter Jr. I'm not sure if he did. So let's just be honest and unbiased about this. Mikey Garcia was doubted in a lot of fights. Mikey Garcia was even doubted against Adrian Broner when he went to fight him. So all these guys, in hindsight, it's easy to say, oh, Mikey's better than these guys. But at the time of these fights taking place, people didn't have the utmost confidence in Mikey. Mikey went out there and proved it by demolishing these guys, by winning vastly more rounds than any of these guys did. Yeah, some of these guys may have had a couple competitive rounds, but what does that mean? Tons of people had competitive rounds against Errol Spence Jr. Lamont had a competitive round or two. Kell Brook had a first competitive 6 rounds of that fight. Let's just be honest and unbiased. Come on now. He also stated, and then went straight into discrediting Errol's opponents that were champions but never really mentioned Errol has plenty big sparring partners. Who cares if he has big sparring partners? Big sparring partners for Errol Spence Jr. is meaningless for Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia is not going to be big as any of those guys. So if he's sparring huge and big guys for this Mikey Garcia fight, he's an idiot, because that has to be the dumbest sparring work you're going to get. You need to spar smaller guys to can mimic the style of the opponent that you're going to have in front of you. Small guys with precision punching, better boxers than you technically. Don't spar big, strong, powerful guys, because that's not what you're going to be seeing on the other side of the ring. You're going to be seeing a guy landing precisely on your chin. So you're going to need that type of sparring. And I don't know if Errol Spence Jr. is looking for that, but if that's what he's getting, just big and strong guys, then you're going about it the wrong way. I can't read all of this guy's comment because it's just so much garbage, but I can read as much as I can. There's another part at the end. He said, all I can do is laugh at how you're bending facts. How am I bending a fact when I just told you who the two world champions were? I mean, how is that not public information? I think everyone has recently seen Mikey Garcia fight Sergey Lipinets and Robert Easter Jr. How is that bending a fact? Painting Errol as the bad guy. He's not a bad guy. Errol Spence Jr. can win this fight. That's why I called it 50-50. And just because he can win or lose, and just because I favor Mikey doesn't mean Errol Spence Jr. is bad at all. Not at all. He's a very good and entertaining fighter. Come on now. But you're highlighting one specific fact and then forming bogus opinion. So it's bogus because you don't agree with it? Come on now. You have to be unbiased. Now, this comment is from Ultimate Rooster. Mikey has a real fight IQ. He is a very smart fighter. I don't see Errol winning. Even Kell Brook looked good against Spence. Very good point. Very good point. Another one. Darren Davis, IBFR. Get the out of here. You don't know shit about boxing. But you provided no facts. So you sound like an emotional fanboy. You provided no facts. Give me facts to debate. Debate me in facts. I would be happy to debate anybody in facts. Please. Miguel R. states, facts straight out of the boxing Bible. I appreciate that, Miguel. JB states, okay, I like Mikey, but let's look at who he has beaten. Robert Easter Jr., okay, who I think Fortuna was robbed against. Very likely, very possible. Could have robbed Fortuna, but you know how those fights go. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. In close fights, they lean towards the champions. But as I say, style makes fight. So if you're not a casual boxing fan and you know boxing and understand boxing, you understand that Robert Easter Jr. is the type of guy that fights small when he fights opponents. And he fought Javier Fortuna very, very small. He sat in the pocket and brawled with him. But then when he fought Mikey Garcia, he attempted to use his range and his distance and his height. He didn't approach the fight that he fought Mikey Garcia with in any shape, form, or fashion that he did Javier Fortuna. Be honest and unbiased with your comment. Because had he approached that fight with the same game plan, then that would have been a much easier night for Robert Easter Jr. That's probably one of his biggest criticisms and knocks on him, is that he fights down to the level of his competition, and that's always been an issue. He doesn't fight using his height and reach advantage as he should. All right, the next thing he said, Adrian Broner, who was coming back late in the fight and finishing stronger. Adrian Broner was not coming back late in the fight. Just because Adrian Broner threw a few more punches and attempted to have a more competitive round or two does not mean Adrian Broner was coming back in the fight. That negates the whole argument. You have to be honest and unbiased when you watch these fights, and it sounds like you may be new to boxing and don't quite understand that. Sergey Lipinets, who is good but not great, has not beaten any great fighters. Who said he beat any great fighters? No one said he beat any great fighters. Has Errol Spence Jr. beat anybody that's beaten any great fighters? Absolutely not. Errol Spence Jr. is fighting guys who's already been beat up and taken losses. I mean, my goodness, Kell Brook was coming off a knockout loss. How are you fighting a guy coming off a knockout loss and a broken eye socket, and you wouldn't even allow him a tune-up? What are you talking about? It's just very sad when you see that. But I'm going to skip down to his last point in his comment, where he says, let's be unbiased for a second. Mikey's resume is no better than Spence. This is a big ask moving up, and you want to say it's 50-50 fight. Spence deserves to be a big favorite. Come on, man. Now, look at it like this. Out of everything you said, you're talking about resume, but why didn't you mention skill sets? What skill sets does Errol Spence Jr. has above Mikey Garcia? Because he's not a better boxer than Mikey. He's not an elite level fighter. What does he do better than Mikey? Because the only thing that he has in Mikey in this fight is size and power. So if all he has is size and power, and that's the only way he can win the fight is just by being the bigger, stronger guy, because he can't outbox Mikey. That's just not what he does. That's not who he is, and that's not his style. We've never seen Errol Spence Jr. go into a fight attempting to completely outbox someone and not lay it on with the power. That's not who Errol Spence Jr. is. And if you say that's who he is, you're being intellectually dishonest with the people. This is a 50-50 fight, and you have to be real with it because Mikey Garcia has the skill and Errol Spence Jr. has the power. Now, let's see here. Mike Rhyme states, so you're telling me Mikey got more power than Peterson? Don't bet no money on the fight. You don't be an Olympian by just having one skill. You are amazing. Black, big eye. That's the right name for losses. I have no idea what this guy is saying, but let's just dissect the first part of his statement, is that Mikey got more power than Peterson. First of all, Mikey not only has more powers than Lamont Peterson. Mikey Garcia is an elite level 4 division world champion. Lamont Peterson is not a former 4 division world champion. He's not an elite fighter and has never been an elite fighter. Lamont Peterson is not half the fighter that Mikey Garcia is. He's just simply not. Mikey Garcia is an undefeated world champion, former 4 division world champion. Mikey Garcia has proven power in 2 different weight classes. Lamont Peterson has already lost 4 times. Not only did he lose to Errol Spence Jr., he's lost to Danny Garcia, and he's already been stopped before he got stopped against Errol Spence. He got stopped in the 3rd round by Lucas Matthysse, who was just recently stopped by Manny Pacquiao. So let's look at it like this. Lamont Peterson has already been stopped in a lower weight class by a smaller guy than Errol Spence in shorter time. So is Lucas Matthysse stronger than Errol Spence Jr. even though he was fighting in a smaller weight class because he stopped Lamont Peterson in the 3rd round and it took Errol Spence Jr. 7 rounds? What does that tell you? So just by your own logic, that makes no sense. Lamont Peterson is not the level of fighter Mikey Garcia is, no matter how bad you want him to be. But that's all we have for today. Once again, unbiased as always is the Ibfp. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.